Hello guys, welcome back to another Cinematic Mike review. Today I'm going to review George Pelecanos and David Simon's HBO Max series, We Own the City. We Own the City stars John Bernthal. It's a story that takes place in Baltimore. It tells a true story of the cops that were found guilty for corruption in Baltimore in like 2017. This is a story that I don't remember hearing about, which surprised me because I was looking at the news a lot around that time. I was like way on all that news of like police brutality and all that around that time. And I was surprised that I can't recall ever seeing the news where it said because I seen the clips, I seen it in the show too, where it shows like all of them on the news, like 12 or so cops right there that were found guilty in this whole thing of corruption in Baltimore and all that. I saw the trailer to it. I kept seeing something about John Bernthal and this We Own the City. And you know me, I'm into like crime drama, crime thrillers. That's kind of my cup of tea. So I was excited to see something like that again. And I looked at the trailer and it got my attention. And then I investigated, found out that it was based off of a true story, inspired by. And then I saw that John Bernthal, one of my favorite actors, is in there. And so I couldn't wait to see it. And I got to a point where I actually got to check it out. And there's only 6 episodes. But I'm going to tell you the truth. These episodes actually feel like movies when you watch it, and something I loved about it. I think the directing in it, the editing, the color in it, the acting. I don't think there's any actor in here that I don't believe. Everyone like is spot on here. There's no one that's not believable or anything or doing good in the role that they're playing. And this thing was kind of like, I don't know how you say it, but when I saw this as I was watching this, it was kind of like, how do you say this? It kind of angers you at times when you see what's going on. At first you think like, oh cool, these guys are like doing this stuff, but it shows you like, damn, this is kind of messed up what they're doing. You're kind of shocked to what they're doing, you know. And we've seen movie shows of corrupted cops right here and all that before, but something that I did kind of dig on this show was that it shows more of the outer sides of the reasons of why this is allowed to happen. And it shows that it doesn't only land on these cops that are actually corrupted. It goes further out, who the people who actually allow it to happen to or don't have solutions put in front of them and kind of just want to ignore it and all that. So to me, it kind of felt like it wasn't siding with one. That's what I feel. But I have been seeing reviews lately that I've been reading on this where I saw a review where it said, or like a comment where it said, this is a defund the police show. What was the other one? I defund the police show. There was another. Oh, this is propaganda, and all of this kind of stuff. So I don't know. To me, and you know, it reminds me a lot of the short film that I did on last day, my very first short film, and I remember the reaction I got from people where they kind of didn't like that I made like I showed another side of another cop who actually doesn't do anything bad but ends up being attacked for the consequences of these corrupted cops or bad cops and all that. And yeah, some people in my life and friends, they're kind of into that whole like, no, they're just bad. They're just bad. That's it. No, there's no good. And I'm like, okay, even if there was, it still wouldn't be the type of writing that I'd want to do. I mean, I do think some like one-dimensional characters exist and are probably good. But for some stories that I want to write or some things that I can think of, I still, even if they're bad, I still want to give like a reason to what they're doing. And right here, you kind of see that also with these cops in here. So there are reasons why they are doing what they're doing. They shouldn't do it, but there's kind of a little reason of why you would see why this person is doing it, but they really shouldn't do it. But they talk a lot about like not being paid enough. There's some line where someone says like, my baby can't eat no medal. You know, they give a medal and all that when they are awarded. They're like, my baby can't eat that. I need money for my baby to eat and everything. All that kind of stuff, you know. So to me, it was kind of interesting because to me, it came out like it was kind of pointing fingers at each side, not just to me. That's the way it came off. But a lot of people are saying, no, it's siding with them. No, it's siding with them. But the way I interpreted it, it seemed like it was going like from everywhere. You know, it wasn't just like and like politics. It was going like to like kind of both sides. The way it came off to me, because even by the end of this series, the last episode shows a lot of the politicians who are responsible and what, even if they weren't exactly responsible, but some of the things that they did, and they were found that they found out later about these people. You know, and these are people that are like supposed to be the government, the politics, and all that. So it's something that I liked. Again, the the directing as well, the editing as well. The story goes like back and forth. It tells the story of Wayne Jenkins, who is a Baltimore police. What it was a Baltimore police. This is a real guy, Wayne Jenkins. And I didn't know anything about him, but this is John Bernthal is playing Wayne Jenkins, and you can find videos of this corrupted cop on YouTube of things that he did. Things that were wrong that he shouldn't have done, planting stuff on civilians and everything just to arrest them or to get recognized and get more money. They're part of the the gun task force or something like that, gun trace task force. So yeah, and they would put like work because they knew with overtime they would get paid a lot of money. They knew finding a gun would get them paid and all that, so they would plant it and everything. So it's interesting how this guy was kind of the center of all the people here. They all had a connect. It all went back to him. And so even some people that were, I guess, kind of trying to be good came across this guy and everything. And yeah, it goes back and forth. So it starts like kind of close to where kind of his downfall is, and it goes back to like when he's barely starting. So I love that editing of how it goes back. And when it goes back, they're like, you see like a screen of just them typing into the computer like they would, I guess, if they're looking up a file from the cops or something. It looks like it's something like that. So it goes back, and I love how it goes back and forth. Music is good in here. Acting is great. I guess these guys are the ones that did The Wire. George Pelecanos and David Simon. I never seen The Wire. I think The Wire was like before like a little bit of my time. I was young at that time. I don't think I was watching anything like that. It was probably over by the time I became like a teen or all that, getting older. But yeah, I guess this is from them, and a lot of the Wire fans I could see are fans of this one. They actually are enjoying this because they say it's kind of like a little spiritual sequel to The Wire and all that. And some of the actors here are actors that were young that played in The Wire. A lot of them are from The Wire. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I haven't seen The Wire, but maybe I should check it out sometime. So yeah, you get those fans and all that. Editing, as I said, is great. Acting, John Bernthal plays a great performance here. I think that Sadie Sink from Stranger Things deserves an Emmy. I think that John Bernthal deserves an Emmy for this performance right here. I mean, dude, this guy, I hated this guy. Dude, I love John Bernthal. He seems like the coolest guy. I love a lot of the stuff that he's done. I have a few of his movies, TV shows. We all got to know him. I got to know him at the start of The Walking Dead when he wasn't even that big. And then later I started seeing him hop onto movies and other shows and all that. And it was amazing. I got a few of his movies. I got The Walking Dead. And he's just seems like a cool guy. But right here, I'm like, damn, dude, I really hate this guy. This guy has like an issue right here. And just the way you see him, like you think about it and you're like, dude, there's something wrong with this guy because he's walking around like what he's doing is fine. Like what he's doing, there's nothing wrong with what he's doing in his mind. Like he just keeps doing it. He just keeps talking in this way that like, no, I'm right. It's all right. No, I'm right. I'm not wrong. I can't be wrong. This and that. This is what we're supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I'm just kind of like, damn, dude, this guy's like has a serious problem. And I think John Bernthal plays that part really well because I freaking hated this guy, bro. A lot of scenes angered me. It's not even just him. There are some other actors here. A few actors. I can't remember. I think the other one's name is Josh. I think something Josh from Ford. I think he was in Four Brothers. He's also plays like a bad cop here, which most of these guys play bad cops. And yeah, just the things that they do, the way they treat other people was kind of horrible and all that, and it angers you because you start thinking it triggers you and all that. And I'm like, damn, a lot of it, like every episode, there's something that just pisses me off or shocks me. And they're really responsible for a lot of things that happen to other people. Whether that be someone that's selling drugs, whether that be someone that's driving, and you see all that stuff, how they let it go, the things that they were doing behind their own managers and all that, behind the other people and all that, or they're just seeing that some people knew that it was going on and they allowed it to happen and all that. Again, it's a really gritty crime thriller tale and everything. There's an actor, Trent Williams, who I guess starred in another movie about corruption in like the 80s or 90s, which a lot of people are recommending, which I kind of want to see. He comes out in the last 2 episodes and gives some pretty cool little dialogue in there. Some of the writing here is really great that I love. And yeah, let's see what else I could talk about of We Own the City. Yeah, the thing I didn't know about there's this little spoiler. So this is kind of a spoiler, so you could go away if you don't want it. But but there is a spoiler. If you guys know this thing, that's not really a spoiler if you guys know the whole thing. But I didn't know about this stuff, and it was kind of heartbreaking when I found out about one of the guys that actually ended up losing their life, and it was like a day after they were supposed to, I think, speak up against these people at a trial or something like, and all that. And he ends up, something happens to him, and there's a real debate of whether what happened to him did, so there's kind of like conflicts. The show does it in one way, which I just read that his family didn't like that, because they think that that wasn't the way he went. But people say that the evidence show that that is how he went. But just to see how all this just kind of like, I don't know how to say it, just it blew up and it still went back. It's like just like the past coming back to haunt you again, and all that. And this guy was actually trying to avoid all that stuff. I'm not sure if that's how he was in real life, but he seemed like he walked away and went his own way. But still, that thing kind of caught up to him and all that. So yeah, and yeah, it's really heartbreaking that, I think it also it shows really, because a lot of people talk about like cops are bad, cops are bad. Which, yeah, I know I'm against like police brutality and all that. I didn't like that either. I don't like it. And that's one of the reasons I wrote Last Day. I wrote Last Day because I kept coming home from school, college, and all that. And every time I was like going through something in my life, and I would just be all kind of upset. And then every time I come home, the news was on, and someone would lose their life, and it was at the hands of a cop. And I got so pissed, like to a point where I'm like, hey, I kind of want to write something about this. And I remember my friend telling me like, hey, why don't you try writing short films instead of feature films? Because you're still a beginner. And I don't know how to do a short. Yeah, a short film is kind of tough for me. You have to have a lot of talent to do a short film, I think, to tell a good story within like 20 minutes or 15. And I think that's what makes people become known, is because they're able to tell a good story within 15 or 20 minutes. That's how some of them become famous directors, famous screenwriters, and all that. So I was like, oh, you know what? I have an idea I think I can make this in like 20, 30 minutes or so. And I had the idea, and it was going to be focused on one way at first. It was just going to be the one character and that. But then when I was doing research, I found out a lot about all these other people that lost their lives at the hands of the police and all that. And then as time went on, something else happened where, I guess some were being ambushed, cops were being ambushed. And that's where I was like, oh, okay. So that's kind of where I switched my script around from what it was going to be. And I kind of did like a little double-sided type of coin thing. And then I did leave it for like people to like just judge it themselves. But look at the reaction I got. As I said, some people were like, just like, no, they're just bad. They're just bad and all that. So yeah, it's kind of, and part of me regretted it at the time a lot too, because I felt bad. I thought I did something wrong. I still do sometimes. But then again, I'm like, no, I don't know. Sometimes I'm okay with it. And plus I learned from it also. But yeah, it's kind of hard. But yeah, so, and I feel like that's the reaction that this show is kind of getting, is that kind of type of reaction, which kind of like doesn't too much surprise me, because I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. But right here, it does show like, the people from like more upper and all that, I mean, there's an episode where they show them like, hey, look, this is what we can do. And they just straight up kind of tell them, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And then it's the whole thing of how they allow someone's face to be the blame and all that, and they get to hide their faces and all that. So it's cool just doing that type of like conflict and all that type of thing. It's my kind of cup of drama and all that type of stuff. I am kind of heartbroken that it was a true story and all that. Again, but the show was great, and to do it in 6 episodes was amazing. As I said, when I put it on, it looks like a movie, and it doesn't even feel like an hour at times. But yeah, it was a great mini series. I do hope they bring it out on physical media, because I do want a copy of it. I hope it does come out. And again, I hope John Bernthal does get an Emmy. I hope Sadie Sink gets an Emmy for Stranger Things. But yeah, We Own This City is on HBO Max. If you guys haven't seen it, I suggest you guys check it out if you guys want to. Or you guys can check out the trailer and all that. But yeah, those are my thoughts, my review on George Pelecanos and David Simon's We Own This City. If you guys enjoyed my video, please hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.